Folks, welcome back to Nostalgianomics. So if you didn't catch my video on Sunday, I talked about in the past 10 years or so with XY, Sun and Moon, Sword and Shield, and Scarlet Violet era that people tend to gravitate towards the Gen 1, Gen 2, even Gen 3 Pokemon on average. And usually those cards get pushed to the top of the sets. Those are the top chase cards. They're the most valuable. And really, I just showed this based on historical data. This caused a bit of a stir in that video. It caused a bit of a stir in the comment section. I did get some pretty wild comments. Comments like, well, it's my fault. You know, it's influencers like me that are the reason that Gen 1 Pokemon get pushed because we're the ones that are pushing them. I got some constructive comments like, well, Alex, maybe these are just long-term plays that, you know, especially with Scarlet Violet era, maybe some of these new starters or new Pokemon they're pushing will end up being popular and popular chase cards going forward when these kids get older and have their own money and start spending money on the things they grew up with and the shows and the games they're playing, which is a very, you know, I agree with that. It's a very real possibility. And then, you know, there are other comments just talking about the, you know, the pump of things and things like that. Guys, here's how YouTube works. A lot of people out there only see a select portion of my videos, right? I mean, that's why I can have 9,000 something subscribers, but the videos only get, you know, 3, 4, 5,000 somewhere in their views, right? And then there's other people who just find the channel for the first time and they see that video first. And so you can get a preconceived notion of who I am or what I'm about. Here's the thing. If you don't know me, I'm probably one of the biggest proponents and biggest champions of the Scarlet Violet era. I'm probably one of the most bullish creators out there in Scarlet Violet. There is so much negative talk about Scarlet Violet era. All the early sets are trash. Save all your money for the later sets. You know, no one's going to want these. Blah, 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 right? I totally disagree. I've been picking up every single set in Scarlet Violet era in what I would consider mass, buying cases of them, whatever it may be. I'm even moving into some of the single cards at this point. And so I'm a believer, right? All I did was take the historical data and show you what has been happening. Now, you can either choose to agree and base your decisions off that or disagree and base your decisions off that moving forward. But that's all that was. So today I thought we could go through and look at Scarlet Violet era. I could give you my take on each individual set. And I'm gonna talk about the cards that I feel are undervalued and underappreciated right now. Now, this doesn't mean they're immediate investment pickups. This doesn't mean that like the top hits in the sets are going to be overtaken by these cards. I'm not saying that. I just feel the cards I'm going to show today are the underappreciated or undervalued cards at this point in the era. Now, here's the issue. If a reprint comes, the prices could fall more. And so, again, I'm not saying they're like, pick them up right now, hold them, you know, forever or whatever. Maybe they will be, you can hold them forever and they'll be fine because after the reprints come, they probably will bounce back. But I just wanted to go through and talk about the cards that I see right now that could be good pickups and why, to at least give you guys the other side of things, because I think I got a little unfairly judged on that video as being somehow against Scarlet Violet era or new generation of Pokemon. Not the case. So before we do that, let's go ahead and talk about today's video sponsor. It's Low Poppin'. Guys, it definitely pays to check out Low Poppin'. I've personally bought a lot of cards off here lately. They do have really good deals from time to time. I mean, they got this big black label Charizard V up top. But other than that, I mean, you can see they got the full art Sonya from Rebel Clash, only $60 and a PSA 10. They've got the Gengar, the Gyarados GX from Crimson Invasion, PSA 10, $100. You know, they got a lot of cool stuff on here. If you do see something you like, all you got to do is click on it, like this Burning Shadows Charizard GX PSA 10. You can buy now, pay later on that. You can make an offer on it, or you can reach out to on Instagram or email if you do want to make a trade for it, or if you have a collection to sell. They are always buying, selling, and trading. So make sure to check out Low Poppin', guys. The link will be in the comment section and description below. All right, first up, let's talk about Scarlet Violet base. So Scarlet Violet base set, right? The Merriam's leading things. She probably always will. Gardevoir's number 2. It may always be. But you got the Nest Ball and the Rare Candy Golds up here, right? You got the Arven illustration, the Arven Floor up there. I think the reason a lot of these are up there is because they're playable right now. I think they will fall off. My undervalued cards are right here. I believe this Meridon and this Corydon are 2 undervalued cards, and I think they will take the number 3 and 4 slots in the future, if not even surpass the Gardevoir, maybe the Merriam. I'm not saying they will, but it's always a possibility. If these take off, they are some of the biggest Pokemon being promoted. If you can look at a lot of the sets, they're being put in a lot of the sets. They're being put as chase cards in a lot of the sets. They are the main characters that are, with the main character in the game. Meridon and Corian are definitely being pushed in Scarlet and Violet, and that could mean these are a thing because these are the very first SIRs. They're in the very first set of Scarlet Violet. And so these are the ones I'm looking at, especially at $10 and $15 for SIRs, right? So that's for Scarlet Violet base, right? Meridon and Corydon. All right, next up, Paldea Evolved. So Magikarp's been going absolutely crazy lately. It's probably going to stay very valuable. No idea where it's going to land. But yeah, it's a great card. Nothing you can say. The Ionos are up there, right? The big chase waifus in the set. You got the Super Rod again. I can see the Super Rod falling off a bit in the future. We'll see. And then you have a lot of the new legendaries. You got this Tyranitar and Raichu regular illustrations up there because they're popular species, even though they're just regular illustrations. They're up there. And a lot of things like that. So let's go through all of the Paldea Evolve cards I think are probably underrated. Tyranitar. You say, Alex, it's already the top illustration of the set. How is it underrated? Well, I look at the Groudon from Paradox Rift. It's still a good amount more expensive than this. You could say because it's newer, possibly. But Paradox Rift is a cheaper booster box. And it's the card's going for more than the Tyranitar. The hit rates are relatively the same. Paldea is older. The booster box is already worth more, and the Tyranitar is actually less valuable. And you could argue the Tyranitar and Groudon are on the same level of popularity as a Pokemon. And so this Tyranitar being in the teens still, near mint, you can see it's still selling in the teens. I still think it's a good pickup at that price. Next up, guys, all these legendaries. These are the new legendaries. These are the legendary birds. These are the legendary beasts, legendary dogs, whatever you would call them. These are the legendaries of Scarlet Violet. Qianpao, Chiyu, Tinglu, and Wo-Chien. Now, think whatever you want about the names, about the Pokemon, whatever it is. These are the first SIRs of the new legendaries. That's why I think whatever price they're at right now, I still think they're undervalued. I still think these 4 cards are going to be valuable in the future because they're the first of the new legendaries. Same goes for the 3 starters. The Meowscarada, the Skeleturge, and the Quaquaval. I think these 3 being the top evolved of the new starters, being the first SIRs of the 3 starters, I do think all 3 of these cards are actually undervalued as well and will also be valuable in the future. I mean, you can look at the prices of all these, right? You can pick up the Qianpao is actually, I would say probably getting to be properly valued for the time being. I mean, it has risen in the mid-20s now. So this might be getting properly valued. The Chiyu, though, it's rising too. It's still in the high teens. The Tinglu is very low, under $10. The Wo-Chien, under $10 in like the $7, $8, $9 range. And then the Meowscarada, low teens, if not 10. You got the Skeleturge, low teens. You got the Quaquaval all the way down like $5 a card. I think these are good pickups. I think they're going to do well in the future. Guys, Obsidian Flames, it's really hard. I don't think there's very much in Obsidian Flames that is undervalued. Looking through the set, it just seems like it's not that strong of a set, to be honest with you. But if I had to pick one, I think the one thing I could say is probably this Ninetales. I think this Ninetales illustration can be the big illustration in this set, kind of like, the Magikarp or the Tyranitar or the, Groudon is in Paradox Rift. I think this Ninetales can see some value rise. I mean, it is a Gen 1 Pokemon. It is relatively sought after, and it is sitting in like the $5 to $6, $7 range right now, which is wild to me. So that's actually, I feel, is an undervalued card of Obsidian Flames. All right, going to 151. Guys, I think these are properly valued. It's hard to say anything's too undervalued, right? These are very properly valued cards, even the Zapdos. You go down to a lot of these illustrations. They have all the starters up top. I think a lot of these are very well valued. There is one card that I found that I think is undervalued in this set. It's the Giovanni SIR. This card has got completely destroyed lately. It's going for under $10 in the near mint condition. It resembles the Giovanni Persian from like the Japanese exclusive promo back in 2016 during the 20th anniversary a lot. And I get it's a completely different release. I'm not trying to say it's going to be valuable like that. I do think it's more valuable than a sub $10 card, though, especially being an SIR, the Giovanni and Persian. This is a great looking card. This, I feel, is a very undervalued card in 151 right now. All right. Paradox Rift. All right. You got the Roaring Moon, the Iron Valiant up there. Guys, this Iron Hands trend, this is going to end. When this becomes not playable, this is going to drop. Mark my words. I would not be investing in these or collecting these right now. That's what happens when a playable card gets playable. You got the Groudon up here. There's that Groudon I've been talking about. Goldango, right? You got a lot of these other cards down there. Here is what I feel in Paradox Rift is undervalued, right? Iron Valiant. I know you're saying, Alex, how can that be? It's the third best card in the set. It's almost the second. It was the second best. I think it's been getting crushed lately with the attention going to the Iron Hands. And guys, this is Gardevoir, right? This is the futuristic form of Gardevoir. It's got the futuristic form of Tyranitar in back. I just think this card is undervalued for what it is. If you look at every set, Gardevoir is usually always up there as one of the top hits cards in every set back from to XY. You can look at XY. You can look at the Sun and Moon tag teams. You can look at, Sword and Shield. You can look at, Scarlet Violet even so far with the base set, Gardevoir. Gardevoir is always a top hit Pokemon, so it's always up there. The Iron Valiant's obviously the futuristic version, but I think it's a great card. I think it's gotten a little too beaten up lately. I think finding this card under $30 seems a little low to me, especially being the second best hit in the set behind the Roaring Moon. So the Gardevoir is one of them. And then I think this Goldango and this Gimmighoul card, I just think this is such a cool card. It's a character in the game you can't get until you trade. The Gimmighoul is kind of all over the game, always giving you these Gimmighoul tokens, Gimmighoul coins. And this illustration is $6, $7. And the Goldango, it's up there, right? But it has been falling a lot lately. And finding this card near mint in the low to mid 20s, it just seems like a good pickup to me. These SIRs, they're harder to hit than people think, and they're harder to grade than people think. And so I think near mint versions of these will be good. So those are my three picks for this set. I think Iron Valiant, Goldango, and Gimmighoul are undervalued. Again, guys, this isn't to say these are the best cards in the set or they're going to be the best cards. I just think they're underappreciated for what they are right now. All right, Paldean Fates, all right? You got the Charizard, you got the Bubble Mew, very properly valued, great-looking cards. Again, another Gardevoir, right? Like I talked about the Iron Valiant, another Gardevoir near the top in the set. It always is. It just is what it is. Pikachu, Iono. So a lot of awesome cards. Now, look, this is going to be a hot take. I didn't pick these. I actually think there's a world where these green cards could be valuable in the future, right? You got the Maridon, Corydon, and you got the four legendaries, the Qianpao, Chiyu, Wo-Chien, and Tinglu in the green cards. There is a world where people chase those because they're unique. People like uniqueness. They're probably not going to make those green cards again. There's going to be the one set only. There's actually a world where these actually become more valuable. I didn't pick them for this example, but I do think the green cards can have a chance. And I'm not saying they will 100%, but there is a chance. There is a speculation play there on the green cards. I picked the Mew. I think the shiny Mew full art is crazy undervalued. I mean, this card being a $6, $7, $8 card when you look at the set and all of these cards are up there. I mean, you have all of these baby shiny. You have a baby shiny Pidgey, a Snorlax, a Ditto. Like, okay, you can argue the Pikachu, Charmander, and Charmeleon, but it's Mew. To have a full art Mew that much less valuable than those cards, it just seems like a travesty to me. I think this is one of the most undervalued cards in Paldean Fates is the full art shiny Mew. And last up, we're going to do Temporal Forces. It's brand new, guys. I think a lot of these are probably a little overvalued still. Maybe you could say properly valued. I think the Ghastly actually is properly valued again. I think it got overvalued for a second. I don't think it's overvalued anymore, though. I think this is probably a good price for it. If it drops lower, I'd probably say it's undervalued at that point. If you look at all the Scarlet Violet sets, they all have kind of big one or two illustration rares in the sets that are valued high. The Tyranitar, the Groudon, Magikarp, things like that. I think the Ghastly is that card for Temporal Forces. So I think it's probably around the price range it should be at. But a lot of the cards, like I said, they're new. It's really hard to judge a set this new. The one card, just a fun card I thought that's really undervalued is, this Lickitung, right? This Lickitung, $2 for this illustration. It's a great art. Lickitung, it's not like a crazy popular Pokemon, but a lot of people do know Lickitung. It was in the show. It was Jesse or James's Pokemon. So, look, I'm not saying it's going to be some big banger, but for $2, could this card be a $5, $10 illustration one day? Yeah, I think it could. And so, yeah, I think Lickitung's probably a good pickup if you wanted to pick up something undervalued in Temporal Forces. But that's what I got, guys. So, look, I appreciate Scarlet Violet Era. I like a lot of Scarlet Violet Era. To tell you the truth, I've actually been picking up some cards in Scarlet Violet Era, not just sealed. I've actually been picking up some of the PSA 10 slabs and some raw cards that I feel are just really good prices. They're going way too low at auction, and I think they're going to do well in the future. And so, look, will there be better sets to come? Possibly, probably. Does that mean all of these newer sets and all these newer cards are not going to be worth anything and no one's going to want them? No, absolutely not. Not by a long shot. I don't agree with that. And I am a proponent and a champion of Scarlet Violet Era. And so that's what we got today, guys. Like it or love it. There it is. Or hate it. Like it or love it. It's almost the same thing. Like it or hate it. I should have said. Guys, make sure to check out Low Poppin'. Hey, if you are going to pick up anything for yourself, TCG Player or eBay, I have affiliate links below. You guys know how that works. It costs you nothing. It does support the channel. It helps support me. And it's just a good way to do that. So if you are going to go shopping anyway, don't like FOMO because I mentioned any of these cards. But if you're going to buy anything anyway, consider using the links. It does help out the channel. And that's all I got today, guys. My name's Alex. This is Nostalgianomics. I'm going to be back here in a new one soon. I'm out.